What is up, my Galaxians? It's Dr. Wookiee. Or should I say Judge Chewy? Anyways, bringing you another update, legal update with the Gala legal stuff, the co-founders suing each other, where we're at. Essentially, I've gone through like 300 pages of legal stuff, and honestly, I'm a little tired of reading, but I did it for you, my community. If you want the super short of it, essentially, Wright said, "Nuh-uh, I didn't steal no Gala," and Eric's like, "Yo, you did steal it." We're gonna go way more in depth. There's so much to cover, so much really fun little things. And this is going to be a good one if you want to just go ahead and listen to, because unfortunately it's so hard for me to make this like short. All right. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Before we jump in, though, real quick, you got 36 hours. All you got to do is follow me on Twitter and click that like button, and you'll be entered in one of those Gala Gold boxes. And if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, that gives you two chances, because one box will be given away for subscribers on my YouTube channel. One box for those who follow me on Twitter who just go ahead and like me, which there's only 115 likes on this, so that's pretty good odds for you getting one of those Gala Gold boxes that are they're a little more than $100, I believe. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the findings. As we jump into this, I also want you to know I am not a lawyer. I am a doctor. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Make up your own opinions. Obviously, I am developing a bias as I read through these court documents. And yeah, I am looking to profit off of this as much as I can. And what I mean by that is I am looking to buy Gala at the lowest price possible. And it is not yet. I have not purchased quite yet. And that's just because I am not sure whether Wright will dump some of the Gala that he still holds. And just so you know as well, some people have been mentioning in Discord or around the block that the assets have been frozen. That is a lie. They have not yet been frozen. I will keep you all completely up to date and let you know when I do pull the trigger to buy a bunch of Gala and my reasoning for why, and when we get to that point. All right, so real quick, this is essentially Wright's lawsuit. Not a whole lot has changed on the docket here. Pretty much all the action we are seeing is over on this side. Since we last spoke, essentially, Wright went ahead and drafted his like opposition to the restraining order, saying don't do it, and has a bunch of exhibits that he posted, those being Gala Games tax returns as well, which is one reason I was kind of waiting a little bit on this, and some affidavits from a couple of old coworkers that he has essentially. And essentially, Eric Schurmeyer then asked to send this motion to basically post a overlength reply in support of his motion after reading through all of Wright's stuff. And then the judge, he did go ahead and grant that and signed and said, yeah, go ahead and file an overlength reply. And sure, he did file an overlength reply. We'll talk about it here. And then essentially during the latest stuff that's happened is Schurmeyer asked him for the judge to seal essentially the tax returns and the valuations of Gala, which Wright made public here. And so because of that, I am not going to be showing those on the screen, because then Gala could send me a cease and desist letter. And obviously I don't want to cause any issues like that, because I like Gala and I don't want to cause problems. And if a judge says it's sealed, you know, obviously I don't want to figure out what kind of legal stuff will happen from that. All right, guys. So here are all the PDFs. Look at all this friggin' stuff. Okay. I'm going to do my best to go through it as quick as possible and jump over stuff that really doesn't matter. First thing I just want to mention was this affidavit from this Jennifer Miller. This is one of Wright's coworkers, or somebody he's worked with for many, many, many years. I say many, many, many because it goes all the way back to like Elevate and stuff. Okay. So essentially she says that from 2019 to 2020, she personally performed the bookkeeping. I don't know if that means accounting as well. I mean, record revenue and expenses. It sounds like balance sheet, maybe accounting stuff. And she said that, you know, initially they sold 20,000 nodes. 14,000 of those were to Eric and Wright. 1,000 went to this Connect United, which was a company that they partnered with for the intellectual property to sell the nodes and stuff. And then 5,000 were actually sold to users themselves. Now, initially, she states a single wallet was set up to receive Gala for True North and Schurmeyer's nodes, these 14,000 nodes. True North and Schurmeyer both held the keys to this wallet. They plan to divide the Gala in this wallet to separate wallets controlled by True North and Schurmeyer in the future. The address of this wallet is this address. So you're telling me two dudes were like, you know what? Let's share one wallet, and we'll just divide it up later. That makes no sense at all. And if you go ahead and look up this wallet, this is the Gala main Gala company wallet that the distribution goes to every single day, the 50% distribution when Gala is minted, right? So this first off made no sense to me at all. She then said on September 11th and 12th, 2020, Gala was initially minted to the Ethereum blockchain. That's not true because Ethereum was this Gala was minted on like an ERC 1155, which we'll talk about later. This was the second minting. Anyways, 14 months had gone by. People had been running their nodes for 14 months. Initially, they did just a little 1 million Gala mint, probably to make sure it was working fine. And then they went ahead and minted the rest of the almost 20 billion Gala to the quote company wallet, which is what I'll call it. And then she has a spreadsheet that depicts the same. Remember, she's saying that this wallet was a shared wallet. But if you look, they even have it named here, Masternode. Travis. Who I know is named Travis? Travis Allen, the developer guy who already gave a comment. So anyways, Masternode, because it's the company wallet, to mitigate the single point of failure, having a significant amount of Gala in one wallet, True North and Schurmeyer separated these out into 99 wallets, which is true. And you can see it on the blockchain. I looked through it. I did not pull it up here for you. And then that occurred on September 14th to make it safer. On the 31st of 2020, Schurmeyer or someone at his discretion transferred 107 million Gala to his personal wallet. And if you look at the blockchain, this 7 million Gala was sent to a Uniswap Gala pool. So it was for the company and to basically make trading easier, right? So the price was this price on the minting of September 2020 that would have generated 30 million in value, quote unquote. None of this was recognized as revenue by Gala Games or for the earning of these 19.6 billion Gala. We'll discuss this in the tax thing because this for me was like, oh, that's quite interesting. They didn't report on their tax returns, the 20 billion Gala that they, gave to the company or whatever, right? Which, at that time too, 2020, I don't know how crypto taxes exactly worked if you're minting something completely brand new. Like I minted a dumb coin, right? And I didn't put it on my tax returns, but it also doesn't have value. So as far as she understood, in 2020, in prepping the tax returns, that money or that Gala was not recognized on the tax return. And based on conversations she had with Thurston, so Thurston, not Thurston and Eric, she understood that in February, they decided to break up their, money in these joint wallets, right? And so on February 3rd, quote, True North elected to transfer part of his share of the Gala from those joint wallets into wallets solely controlled by True North, which is that 8.6 billion Gala that he allegedly has stolen. Schurmeyer then transferred this part, the part of his share, quote unquote, 2 months later. And Eric says he did this 2 months later because that's when he realized all this crap had happened. And that was to obviously further protect the Gala for the company. All right. So what else? Thus, in connection with acquisition, True North and Schurmeyer caused 67 million Gala to be sent from 4 jointly controlled wallets to these sandbox principles to help secure this deal that they made, essentially. Here's the excerpt. I don't really understand it because it just says Eric on here in sandbox. So anyways, basically they helped pay for it. On March 1st, 2021, segregated wallet funded by True North and Schurmeyer with 2 billion Gala from those joint wallets. This was a $55 million investment for BGP projects. She says in case there was a downturn, Gala says that this was because this is like for game development, which they were very vocal about at the time. Based on her review of the blockchain records, April 15th, 2021, there was more than 30 billion Gala in circulation. I knew this was false already, right? Because in circulation means actually being actively traded. And we know at least 20 billion Gala of that is held by, quote, the company, right? So it wasn't that much. It was routinely, BGP continued to derive revenue from product sales. They liquidated Gala through Jason Brink's account at crypto exchange Binance, which Jason will talk about later here. And from September 16th of 2021 through June 13th, 2022, BGP liquidated roughly 2 billion Gala for around $515 million and 2031 ETH worth in excess of 4.2 million. I mean, that's just interesting for us to know, right? Like, wow, they had a lot of money, at least at that time, right? So that's cool to just know, I guess. I mean, doesn't really mean anything to me per se, right? And then that's pretty much like the interesting stuff in her affidavit. All right. The thing I want to mention is this has always been, since the very beginning, the distribution model. The 75% goes to Gala Games, which is that company wallet. 25% goes to the node operators. The reason I point this out is because that amount she mentions that went to their, quote, shared wallet. Because you want to have a shared wallet in crypto with somebody. That makes a lot of sense. That exact amount that they minted in September, that 20 billion Gala, go figure, that's exactly 75 freaking percent of the distribution. Hello? It's like so clearly that this is like company funds. But anyways, we'll get into that even more detail. So let's go ahead and just close these out as we're kind of heading through. Actually, we can close these ones out because there's 3 other affidavits from other people he worked with, essentially. This one being from Stephen Miller, who I'm assuming is the husband of Jennifer Miller. A declaration from Stephen Waters, and a declaration from Brant Frank. So essentially, these 3, I'm not going to go through. They essentially say that Travis Allen, the developer, had no experience developing at all, and he had to be babied along and had a boot camp course or something. And so they're basically trying to discredit Travis Allen. And then they also said Jason Brink didn't join us until this exact date. And so he doesn't know what happened in 2019. Or whatever. So they're trying to discredit those 2, essentially, in those 2, or those 3. So I'm not going to go through those. Now, this is Wright's memo. So we'll go through Wright's memo, essentially him saying, please don't freeze the assets. We shouldn't freeze them, and I'll tell you why. So first off, Wright says there was never a corporate treasury. That never existed. And in our own tax return, it only showed we held $300,000 worth of Gala. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I am curious about this. And then the 2021 tax return, that Schurmeyer signed, this would lead to felony prosecution. And it turns out that it looks like Wright had significant work on these tax returns as well. He actually used his company and some others, or not his company, but some people he knew or whatever. Corporate treasury, he's basically saying there is no corporate treasury, so I couldn't have stolen it. He says, you trying to freeze assets of 979 unidentified third parties based on allegations. These aren't my wallets, is what he says. So it would hurt the public interest in that regard. If the Gala truly belonged in this fictitious treasury, it would have amounted to hundreds of millions of dollars, which did not show up on the tax return. Schurmeyer provides no credible excuse for waiting 2.5 years to bring this emergency motion. Well, first off, sounded like Wright really had everybody by the balls, more or less, right? By stealing, basically the entire circulation, 8.6 billion Gala, how much was circulating out there, and you're like scared and you're hoping like, oh, hopefully he's telling the truth that he just wants to keep it safe or whatever, and kind of scared and had to figure out like how to stop it from being worse. Certainly there'd be some actual contemporary evidence that individuals within the company were alarmed. There is none. There was no theft. There was, and we'll show some of the evidence that proves that, yeah, individuals in the company were alarmed by, this quote theft, alleged theft. And then he says these VASPs nor the owners of those wallets should be frozen because they're not his anyways. Even though, it started in his wallets and then went through this crazy, thing that we showed, that diamond of the Kroll report. So finally, Schurmeyer is not entitled to the relief he seeks because he comes to the court with unclean hands. So I guess this is an actual legal thing where, like, if you can show that the other person is, like, as bad or has performed the same felonious whatever or naughtiness or whatever, that the court can, like, rule that, I don't know, but he's not entitled to relief because he's also naughty. So that's what they're trying to say here. He says, oh, he bought some property in Costa Rica and Hawaii. And then, of course, Wright bought a $40 million property in Puerto Rico. So I don't know what he's trying to get at there. And then he goes through just a whole bunch of stuff that we are not going to go through every aspect of this. Just, ping pong. I basically went over it in that initial section there. For example, this is his arguments is that Schurmeyer sent millions of dollars of cryptocurrency to Jason Brink. I don't know if that's when Jason was told at the behest of Gala Games to liquidate this Gala, to give to Gala Games, cause Gala Games to distribute valuable NFTs to himself and select employees. So we've already kind of heard some of that. Misappropriated millions of dollars of funds. So that's what he says about Schirmeyer. And then when we get down here, he says some other kind of interesting things, or things I thought were, somewhat kind of funny. So here's his exhibits, and I got to be careful to make sure not to go into the tax returns, because I don't want to show any of that stuff specifically. Yeah, sorry, I'm clicking away here. Maybe I'll try to cut this little section out. All right, so at the end of his thing, he basically says, here's my claims for relief. The first, second, and third claims for relief I want is judgments against Schirmeyer for a benefit no less than $600 million in monetary damages. That is so much money. Fifth and sixth claims for relief. He wants True North basically to benefit for $150 million in monetary damages. He wants punitive damages that the court decides are necessary, and then he wants, obviously, Schirmeyer to be completely removed as CEO, director, president, or any other role in BGP, in which case Wright would take sole command, which neither of those are going to happen specifically. So that's what he says in his. So let's go over to Wright's opposition here and some of the things that he specifically shows us. So this is where some of the exhibits are. So February 2021, he does say he sent 8.6 billion of, quote, True North's earned Gala to these 43 wallets. Of the 8.6 billion Gala, he approximately 5.5 billion of it was rendered, made useless, valueless on May 15th, 2023. So essentially, Eric Schirmeyer protected 5.5 billion Gala to be incapable of being liquidated during this litigation time frame right now, whereas the other, what is it, 6, 7, about 3 billion or so, 3.1 billion, he says he already transferred out before this burn, or previously sold or transferred by True North. And he says neither I nor True North own or control the more than 990 wallets that Schirmeyer seeks to freeze. So if he's lying about this, which they can just subpoena these wallets, right, and just see whose name's on them too. But if his name's on these and he's lied, that's really bad. And looks really, really horrible in the court and stuff in general. But in what's good is 5.5 billion Gala essentially is safe, more or less, right now, and that's part of the stuff that was burned. And about 3.1 billion Gala is out there, which he's sold a whole bunch of it. I'd have to go back through that other list by Kroll showing all the money and stuff and how much he has. But I'll talk to you about that when we actually get to the point of any kind of freezing and stuff, and or when, I am planning on buying any Gala and why. And that's just because obviously if any of this stuff goes through and he has to buy back a bunch of Gala or anything crazy like that, I mean, obviously it's only going to be good for Gala holders in general at that time frame. So it's always sell, or what is it? Buy the fear, sell the greed, right? So, it's a lot of fear right now. So definitely going to want to buy up on it. So I got to show this because it's just so funny to me. First off, there's no date on this at all. Okay, just a time, which is super dumb to me. And his name's Eric Blockchain Game is what he has his name in his phone, which is funny to me as well, instead of just his name. Let's jump on with Scott to Resolve so we can tell him what to fix on phone and he can do it right. Then so we are both good. We probably should have done that to start. I'm sure he will edit anything we want. What time works for you? Can you talk right now? Discord, you're free now to chat. You just call me, brother. Fat Thumbs was trying to hit end. Exciting. We will get this done today. We are moving in a good direction. Dude, we may already be billionaires on this deal. So awesome. I'm grateful for you and that we are friends. We are going to change the planet. Everything lining up. He's trying to say that this text is basically saying that Eric also knew he had all this billions of Gala, right, that they quote shared or whatever, and that's what he's trying to talk about. Even though you can read this and first off you're I don't know what the date is on this, which obviously matters tremendously. And then he just says, where was it, right here, he says on this deal. What deal, right? I mean, where's the rest of this? I don't know. That's just means nothing to me. So anyways, let's go ahead and keep moving on. So then this is basically Eric saying, hey, I would like to go ahead and post a lengthy reply. And then they said, yeah, sure. So then look at this, all this crap, okay? And I'm doing the work to go through it for you so that you don't have to. And well, I mean, you always can, right? You can always pay, to get on Pacer or whatever and try to download all this stuff yourself. So first off, obviously Eric is like, please freeze. We need an immediate accounting of the stolen Gala. Thus, the factual dispute is simply over whether the Gala that was in the company's central wallet belonged to defendants or belonged to the company, which really is like the big thing, right? This like 20 billion Gala. And he's basically saying here, hey, ever since the beginning, Gala went first to 25% to the node, users and everything. And then later on, it went to 50%, which we all know. So, initially all that emission, 75% of it was to the company. Okay. And of course, 75%, was that exact 20 billion. The company did not receive a fixed percentage of the daily emission of Gala into the company treasury is what the, right is saying. He says this is it belied by all the documentary evidence before the court, including substantial additional information, which he sets in here. Defendant's factual contentions lack merit and do not credibly support defendant's position. The response to Thurston's theft and dumping of the stolen Gala. So Eric posted these screenshots. He has better ones than like the things that say Brink over here. Brink 1, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are like real specific. And so you can see the exact dates on these and stuff. I mean, you can hear August 17th. But basically saying like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you moving Gala out of the company wallet? This is my favorite right here. Look at this. Moving to buy ammo from Liberty. What? What? What a dumb excuse. Like that makes no sense. First off, why should you have to like excuse what you're doing anyways if it's your Gala? Why are you having to explain to Eric, "Oh, I'm just moving it to buy some ammo"? Because then Eric, of course, is like, "We decided not to have Gala buy ammo. Can you move it back?" Which, yeah, why would Gala need ammo? It's super like funny. Sorry, I'm laughing. All right. And I don't know. He says, "You get my something something." I don't know. And then he's like, Eric's saying, "Hey, you're selling on Coinbase. Please stop all this stuff." Which we'll go into like the exact responses here in a little bit. Thurston also claims that he discussed with Schirmeyer the fact that both he and Schirmeyer were going to make the 8.6 billion Gala from the company weeks earlier, and that in response, Mr. Schirmeyer commented to me that we were going to be billionaires. He says this is false, and we'll go through the exact transcript of that, which is super nice that he posted that, so thanks, Eric. Solely to prevent further theft of company assets. That's why, what Thurston said he was doing, or Eric, right? So here's some of the comments. He says Thurston's contention that there was no company treasury is disproven by his own statements. So Eric said, or Thurston, right, says, "Call me to catch up on treasury management. I seriously think we could make 1 to 5 million per month with good treasury management." Thurston message, Genesis Global Capital employee wants to push the accounting software and treasury management call to Friday. February, Thurston message, wanted to go over treasury management and private key. So he used the word treasury management a lot. So it looks like there was a treasury, huh? Further, the company maintains a wallet directory in the form of shared Excel file, which lists the cryptocurrency wallets associated with the company as well. That directory lists the purpose of numerous wallets, including all of Thurston's wallets into which defendants transferred the stolen Gala as hold company Gala reserve. Basically saying that on the Excel, it shows that it says company Gala or company or whatever. Here, Gala that Thurston earned from operating his Gala nodes has always been distributed into Thurston's node wallet and never into the company's central wallet. Oh, big freaking surprise. Defendant cannot dispute that the stolen Gala originated from the company wallet. Wallet was actually a shared wallet between them, was intended to hold the rewards generated by those 14,000 nodes, is a complete, false and lie. Thurston further contends that, in contrast, Gala that was mined by node owners other than True North or Schirmeyer was deposited directly into node owners' private wallets, right? We all know this is stupid and makes no sense. It's always been, you run your nodes, your Gala gets put into your wallet, right? It makes no freaking sense. And we'll go into even more specific details as we continue to basically hammer this home. So here, Thurston has a separate wallet address that's registered to his Gala nodes, which receives all of his rewards generated by the Thurston Gala nodes. Here's his wallet, the Thurston node wallet. You can see this in Brink's declaration. It's very, very nice and well put. Thurston received a distribution of 1.9 billion Gala in that initial distribution. So he already got 2 billion Gala. I mean, how much more greedy can you be to take 8.6 billion more into the Thurston node wallet for operation of his Gala nodes prior to that date? So it even proves, like, here is the Thurston wallet. Here is the rewards he got for running his nodes. It's right there on the blockchain, right? And then to just demonstrate that it's obvious is Eric got 2.3 billion Gala for running his nodes because he ran more nodes than Thurston did at that time, right? And then the company wallet received the 17.7 billion Gala, which is exactly 75% of the total initial distribution. It's so insane that I have to like read through this stuff. The draft legal memorandum upon which Thurston relies was based upon falsehoods provided to the attorneys by Thurston himself. So this was something that he was like, oh, I had attorneys come through and say stuff about things, and Eric has this like draft or this memorandum or whatever. It was marked draft. It was never finalized based upon inaccurate information provided by Thurston. The company's then general counsel, Jesse Hines, hey, Jesse Hines, La Tank, you got a shout out, forwarded the draft to plaintiff and Jason Brink. Noting that it was not final. As you'll note, a good number of these facts that they were provided with are not accurate, including some big facts, which Brink was like, hey, Gala Games does not own any Gala or Gala NFTs. That is not factually accurate. So even Jason Brink, right, at that time was like, dude, why did you write this? That's not true or accurate. It's important to reflect that right now, all Gala created each night and any NFT created go 25% to the node network and 75% to Gala Games. They are not being minted by the nodes themselves. Everything is on Ethereum. I don't even know why I read that to you. Sorry, guys. The company's tax returns do not evidence defendant's ownership of the stolen Gala. Oh, yeah, because we're getting into the tax return part. Because, yeah, the tax return part for me was like, oh, that's crazy. And, yeah, I got to look through their tax returns. How cool is that? But their tax returns, yeah, did not show the treasury Gala, right? So essentially, in this, and they give the entire paper, which you'll see, but they worked with a company, wrote up all this stuff during that time with tax laws and stuff. Basically, that it didn't need to be reflected. We'll go into that in a minute. But basically saying that, right, saying that it should be or must be his because the tax returns didn't show that company Gala is not true. This PricewaterhouseCoopers published this white paper called Cryptographic Assets or Related Transactions, Accounting Considerations under IFRS. So this is their defense of why it's not in the tax returns. There's no evidence that the company records newly minted daily distribution Gala as revenue or as an asset upon receipt of the Gala. This is purely internal transaction with nothing on the other side of the ledger. Basically saying recognized revenue or expenses associated with Gala only when it sold Gala to fund operations, received Gala as payment for Gala nodes or NFTs, or uses Gala to purchase something from a third party. So they're saying just the Gala they're getting from distributions, they didn't have to report during these times because it's not actually seen as revenue because they're not actually getting money from it, right? It's not until you like sell it or whatever. Moreover, the preparation of the company tax returns has always been managed by Thurston himself, working with his accountants in Utah and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Oh, interesting. So this was done by Thurston and his accountants in this place that kind of wrote all this up. Interesting. Have an accounting firm in Utah. So this is right saying this. We have an accounting firm in Utah doing our taxes attached as Exhibit D, like a message that he got sent. We wanted to follow up on next steps with Rebecca regarding some of the crypto and blockchain elements we previously discussed, including the treatment of Gala we received from the node distribution, minted and unminted, revenue we received through new coins. So even here, right, in February 2022, the company employee at this place in an email, including Thurston, but not Eric, wrote to PricewaterhouseCoopers this specific thing, right? So even here, they're admitting that Gala is being distributed to Gala, right, in the company wallet. He wrote the real point is that Gala only received town in the form of revenue. No daily distro went to Gala like it does with Gala coin, further emphasizing that Gala has always received Gala in their distribution. July 2021, company's chief financial officer, Angela McCarthy, circulated a document evidencing that the company accounted for its daily distribution Gala differently than the Gala it received as revenue. So just a bunch of like evidence is what they're essentially going through on all this. And then the valuations, because Wright argued that, hey, in the 409A valuations that Eric had completed, which once again I got to look at and I can't show because the judge did send a motion to seal it. he explains like why all this Gala essentially was not in the company valuations and the company Gala created internally. Now, I don't remember if I read it specifically in the stuff that I can't show you, but basically it is documented in there that Eric Schirmeyer specifically said, do not include this Gala we're holding because it's not true, like true revenue or value or whatever. He didn't want the valuation of Gala Games to be over blown out of proportion, right? Because they were holding 20 billion Gala worth, 25 cents at the time or whatever, right? Because that'd be bull crap, right? That's not true valuation of your company. And then, of course, he says the whole defendant unclean hands argument is utterly baseless and legally insufficient to excuse their theft of the stolen Gala, which, Dr. Wookiee here has to agree with. In general, I mean, I'm not a judge, blah, 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 reading through. Just bring up the Kroll thing that they ran here. Basically, Kroll had said that they identified 984 individual deposits made to VASPs. However, a total of 269 blockchain deposit addresses, and that it's very unlikely that there are 669 separate accounts held at the VASPs linked to those deposit address. I guess exchanges and stuff can sometimes create a new deposit address for every transaction at the request of the account holder or automatically. So it's hard to know exactly, what that is. A high proportion of the trace asset funds end up commingled into the same blockchain addresses. The trace assets are commingled with Gala that comes from this specific blockchain address, which receives Gala deposits regularly, right? Probably from the node networks or whatever. And then they say, it's theoretically possible that, you could have somebody give you like $100,000 and you give them your seed phrase, I guess, to your friggin' wallet or something. But obviously that's highly unlikely in the cryptographic world, right? All right, so now we get into the exhibit of saying, hey, obviously they were very concerned about what he did, because remember, Travis Allen set up this Slack thing here to notify every time those accounts started moving money. So he said, I've updated the node URL, which should bypass the load balancer if it stops cycling through these messages. I'm looking forward to never looking at this channel again by Jason Brink. Eric says same, nothing to report. Jason says, you stinker. I woke up and saw the notification from here and was like, no, what? And then here's more. Did this break? Weird. The Gala was drained 4 days ago across 4 transactions. I'm not sure I even remember where this code lives. Hey, Adam Price, does it live at this ETH node, which I believe is blah, blah, blah. Got to get some more gas in there to help the stealing. Here all this stuff is. WTF by Jason Brink. I can't wait for this to be over. Once a week, this person steals 200 million. Screw him. When he loses this lawsuit, he will replace all this Gala at the new higher price. I do believe that things can help the price later if they win. Just a bit more than a week. Speeding up. Person. And here we go again. So you can see, right? They're like, this freaking sucks. And there we go. More gone. Can you ask him? LOL. Where is it going? To 2 separate addresses, one of which the ETH from that wallet was just sent to, which means he's probably going to dump it. We'll keep an eye on it. He isn't responding to my messages on WhatsApp. He isn't responding to me either. More. This is being dumped right now. He's getting ready to dump again. Man, could you imagine having to watch that and stuff as it's going through? That would really suck. All right, so Exhibit C here is essentially that entire long freaking ruling, not ruling, but the thing that company wrote up basically saying that they didn't have to report this company Gala because it's had no cost basis. And so, since they can't sell it and stuff, or they can't sell it, but it has no cost basis, they haven't earned anything off of it, so they don't have to report it. That's basically what all that says. But then here's all the emails just proving that they said X, Y, or Z, and that, once again, them trying to just drive home that that was company assets. All right, Jason Brink, moving on to him. He goes ahead and puts another second declaration. This is kind of in response to that Jennifer Miller gal. So he says Gala Games maintains a node database that records the name of Gala node owners, the wallet address into which their nodes are being deposited, their email address, their phone number, and other information. That's right, guys. Your info Gala has. Who is surprised? I'm not. Why wouldn't they, right? You're the one who has to purchase this. They got to keep some safety. So here, Wright Thurston's Gala node is this specific address. Therefore, when Wright Thurston operates his Gala nodes, his tokens go to his Gala node wallet, not a freaking shared wallet. So Thurston Node Wallet, when Thurston operated as Gala nodes, the Gala was distributed to that, while a separate distribution was made to the company central wallet, this is the company central wallet, which you can still look up now and is still a company wallet. There are no Gala nodes registered to True North United Investments. He's just making a point that there are no True North United Investment nodes, so they can't get any, quote, distribution, right? As recorded on the Ethereum blockchain, the first distribution of Gala was made on June 19th, 2020. This was the very true initial distribution. This was a ERC 1155 standard smart contract. And according to the Ethereum blockchain records, the initial distribution was 75% to distribute the company wallet, 25% to the node owners, as attached to this exhibit. Both Wright Thurston and Eric Schiermeyer operated their Gala nodes during that time. Therefore, a portion of that 25% went to them. Specifically, as set forth in Exhibit C, the initial distribution, a total of 22.7 billion Gala, was distributed, including the 17 billion that was distributed to the company wallet. This is the address, and then it was immediately moved to that company wallet address we talked about. 2.3 billion to Eric, essentially, and then about 2 billion to Wright Thurston. Now, a little bit later, right, they went ahead and switched to the new ERC20. So the fact that Mr. Schiermeyer and Mr. Thurston received different quantities of that Gala in the initial distribution demonstrated that they each operated their Gala nodes differently and that money was not theirs. This is so friggin' clear. He should get a new lawyer, man, to get ready for whatever this is going to come out to be. Can you see my bias yet? But how do you read this and not be like, wow, Wright is screwed? He's probably trying to like sell more right now because it's all, not frozen. I don't know. He can I don't know. It's just gonna make it harder to get back, maybe. Anyways, September 12th, which is what Jennifer Miller mentioned as the initial, they went ahead and switched to the ERC20 for the Gala. So essentially, they switched from, the 1155 to the 20 as part of the Gala V1 distribution. About 20 billion Gala was distributed to the company wallet. That's higher because some more months went by, right? This was distributed to the node wallet. That was distributed to the node wallet. Thurston's and Eric's. I attended meetings with Wright Thurston in which Mr. Thurston brought up the subject called treasury management, just saying that he knew there was a treasury involving how to take advantage of the Gala that we held in the company wallets. In these meetings, Thurston suggested that Gala Games should borrow against the company's Gala reserve. Thank goodness they didn't do that, huh? And then down here, he's basically saying, hey, in Jennifer Miller's declaration, she says the company decided to allocate 7,000 nodes as set forth above. Gala Games node database shows no Gala nodes registered to True North, so you should change that to Wright Thurston because it wasn't given into True North. It was given to Wright Thurston. In her declaration, she says a single wallet was set up, which is just laughable to me. However, that is the address of the company's central wallet that Gala Games uses for company Gala, Ethereum, NFTs. The company's central wallet has always received the company's portion of the daily distribution of Gala as recorded in the daily distribution record emailed to Thurston and others on the blockchain. Miller declared on September 11th, this was the initial minting to the blockchain. This bulk mint was based on the 14 months prior. The million Gala, which is true, which we saw, went to that went to the quote joint wallet. That's what that said. Blockchain pursuant to the contract. Oh, that's the contract. This is incorrect. It's set forth above. The September 2020 mint of the ERC20 token was a replacement mint for that initial distribution. And then he goes over like some more stuff there. The receipt of this Gala had no cost basis associated with it. So Jason's like, from my understanding, it wasn't on the taxes because the Gala had no cost basis and it was not being treated as revenue until it was liquidated. Through that like big long thing that those people wrote, they explain like why and all those arguments and whatever, right? That's like on them if they ever have to come back and fight that. Miller declared that they segregated a wallet with 2 billion Gala. He said that that's not true. This wallet was funded with company Gala as a separate account that was devoted to funding game development. I don't know if this is the one what is a conservator fund that we could vote on for games, if that's a different one or not. I don't know. And says obviously the 30 billion Gala in circulation isn't true because it was way less because they were holding most of it. Travis Allen's declaration, he kept it short and simple, right? He was like, hey, I'm a developer. Let me just point out that August 3rd, 2020 Mountain Time, this code was in the distribution, right? And right here you can see daily distributed amount 0.75 to the company, 0.25 to the users, which just further dictates that obviously Gala was going to the company. And that's all he said. He was like, I don't really care what anybody else is saying about me. And then Schirmeyer went ahead and did a like separate declaration of things as well. I just want to point out a couple things he has here. Essentially, Wright Thurston's statements. Now these are in the thing. I'm not going to pull all these up, all these other PDFs. They're basically just screenshots of like text messages. But this is what it says, and you can prove it. So Wright Thurston says, "Kay, I think we can bring on the former head of Genesis Trading to help us part-time and then maybe full-time." Super good conversation with him this morning. Eric said, "What do you envision him doing?" Wright says, "Our internal trading desk, managing all our crypto, we hold the keys. Get cool financial products for Gala and us personally. He literally was the head of Grayscale trading division. Super smart. I seriously think we could make $1 to $5 million per month with good treasury management." Then the second thread, Wright Thurston, "I fixed it when you told me last night. I accidentally reversed the change and it kept 300 on and 100 off. Where can I check that only 100 are on now to double check? Also, was just on phone with Danny Torrey. He wants to push the accounting software in treasury management call too." So this is just proving that Wright Thurston has used the word treasury management numerous times. Here's Eric. "What's going on?" Wright said, "Wanted to go over agreements, treasury management, private keys." So once again, just further proving he knows that there's a treasury. Wright Thurston, "Excited we will get this done today. Here's that thing. We want to see the full transcript. We are moving in a good direction." Eric Schirmeyer, "Dude, we may already be billionaires on this deal. So awesome. Grateful for you. We are friends. We are going to change the planet." Everything lining up. Eric Schirmeyer, "Me too." Wright Thurston, Gala Games representation agreement is in your email. I just signed it 30 minutes ago. I think if Sandbox good taking are the milestones, we are good to go and can execute this afternoon. So this is the deal. It was the Sandbox deal that they made, okay? It wasn't that he moved 8.6 billion Gala. Like, how dumb are you? Like, I guess maybe he thought only I have a picture of this text thread and he doesn't have any pictures, or what? Obviously, they have been litigating and trying to do settlement stuff before this lawsuit came out, right? So I'm sure Eric had already prepared a bunch of this and take pictures of stuff. The next day, Thurston sent me the following WhatsApp message about the deal. "Let's close Sandbox today. I think we are done. You signed the legal rep agreement. You good with Sandbox docs? They look good to you. I think they did a good job. We should do a big press release today." So that's the whole thread there, which is kind of nice to see. All right. There are a few interesting things in these Brink pages here, but I'm not going to open up each one of them. Basically, it just shows the company wallet, the Gala wallet, the Wright wallet. I will try to keep you guys updated as we kind of go through here. I will tell you when I plan on pulling the trigger of buying some more Gala. The reason I'm going to buy, or what I'm looking for, is essentially when Wright does get his stuff frozen, okay? If his stuff does get frozen to account for things, then that for me means that basically I'm more or less kind of in the safe of being able to like buy Gala without having to worry about Wright maybe liquidating more or like dumping more like soon. Because that could also happen and drive the price even lower, right? So until those walls kind of get frozen, I'm not going to really change anything. I will let you know as soon as I see that it's frozen. I'm paying for the Pacer thing each day. Every time I click run the report, it like charges you essentially. And so I'll be checking it daily. Make sure if somebody tells you that they're frozen or something that you actually check or double check. And obviously just be subscribed to my channel and you will definitely get like the newest info as soon as it kind of comes out. Otherwise, I'll try to keep these shorter. I don't know, I'll give you guys shorter segments and stuff, but there's just so much stuff in here. And essentially, so in here, Wright basically is motioning to, file a sure reply brief. So, this is how legal stuff kind of goes back and forth. Yeah, as always, stay warm, Wookiees.